Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Of course, of course. Well, hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me? If you want to unmute yourself and say hi, that's great too.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. And if you want to turn your camera on so I can see your lovely faces, that's great. No pressure. Yay. Hi, Jasmine. It's so funny doing Zoom because I feel like I'm like speaking to I'm like, are people there? Like I see you, but uh, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I would encourage you guys, if you have questions, to raise your hand. Chastity, if you could just let me know if people are raising their hand, just stop me from talking, and I will answer any questions you guys have. At the end, I will open it up for any questions as well. It's a lot of material, so take your time. There's a lot of handouts. Did everybody get the handouts that were emailed to you?
We're going to take an
Yes,
thank
I'm
yes,
gonna
we
take
you.
have
it as a
it.
yes.
Jenny, thank you. And I know this is awkward, but I appreciate it just so that way we know how to adjust and pivot. I'm
Yes.
also opening up the chat as well, so I'm happy to monitor that as well.
Perfect, perfect. That would be great. I don't think I can see the chat because of my share
I
settings. So
got you. Yep.
if you just ask me the question, that would be great. All right, so hello everybody. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Jessica O'Hara Anderson. I am the community nutritionist with the Baltimore County Department of Aging. I do have my master's in nutrition, so I like to let everybody know this is all evidence-based. I didn't just pull it off TikTok and Instagram and say, that looks good. So I just let everybody know that. And so this is session two. Session one, we went into macronutrients, but session two, healthy aging with nutrition, we're going to go into vitamins and minerals. Oh, let's get my screen going. All right, so what are our learning outcomes for today? We're going to talk about the nutrition basics, because if you don't know what good nutrition is, how can you be practicing it? We're going to review a breakdown of macronutrients. What are macronutrients? Those are carbohydrates, proteins, and carbs. It's basically how we get our calories. Calories equal energy. We're going to talk about my plate, which is the USDA plate that was put out with the sections. But I found a study done by Tufts University that outlines it a little with a little bit more detail that I was going to show you guys. We're going to talk about a vitamin versus a mineral because they're different, right? They do different things in the body. Reading food labels. How do you find out how much vitamins and minerals are in the food you're eating? We're going to talk about three specific vitamins and three specific minerals because there's 13 vitamins and 14 minerals, and if I talked about all of those, we would all be asleep. So I broke it down to three and three, which are, I feel are most important as we age. We're going to touch on antioxidants. We're going to talk about the importance of exercise. And then I'm just going to go over the Eating Together program, which is a federal funded program that I work with. So that's what we're going to review today. So I usually ask people when I do live sessions, and if you want to unmute and pitch, pipe in, that'd be great. But why do we care about nutrition? Anybody? You can set it in the chat too. Any thoughts?
Jessica,
Yeah.
I'm menopausal and the math isn't mathing. That's why I care about nutrition because the
Oh,
math isn't mathing. The calories in doesn't equal the calories out. I'm finding that I need different kinds of calories as I enter into this space. I'm just sharing.
yes. We should talk. Anybody else? That's a great one though, Chastity. Thank you for letting us know. Well, basically what, a lot of people answer like for our health, to keep us active. And really what it comes down to is we would not survive as a species if we don't eat. So nutrition is very important to keep us alive. But what is nutrition? So nutrition is defined as eating a regularly balanced diet that provides energy with food consisting of a large amount of vitamins and minerals. And that, my friends, is a place that we have gotten away from. We're taking in a lot of calories without a lot of nutrients. So that's something that we have to work on in society as a whole. But proper nutrition consists of food containing calories of macronutrients, with a balance of macronutrients, which are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. It also consists of 13 vitamins and 14 minerals, which we should be consuming every day, which we are probably not. And why do we need this, right? Why is this important besides living? We also want to help fight chronic disease. So you'll see that RDA, which stands for Recommended Daily Allowance, the whole idea what that was invented was to prevent chronic disease. The idea is if you intake a certain amount of vitamins and minerals, it will help you prevent disease from happening later in life. So what are chronic diseases? Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, osteoporosis, even cancer if you are set up to it. It's in your gene pool. So as a nutritionist, that is my goal. I am not in the game of weight loss. I am in the game of disease prevention. And we can really be doing that through better health and diet. So when we talk about macronutrients, what are we talking about? We need nutrients in large amounts, right? Macro equals large. And those are broken down by carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And there's a lot of language out there about like, don't eat carbs, cut down your fat, eat more protein. Right now it's protein. Everybody's like, you should be eating 200 grams of protein, blah, 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 blah. No, there is no one size fits all for everybody. But what I can tell you in the facts is that you need all three of these because they fuel different parts of your body. So carbohydrates, that's a popular one that I hear people say, I just got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My doctor told me not to eat carbohydrates. And I'm like, please don't do that. Carbohydrates, when we eat them, turn into glucose. Glucose fuels our brain. So if we're not eating carbohydrates, we're basically losing out on our main source of fuel for our brain. You get a little foggy, you can't concentrate as much. That's because you're not intaking enough carbohydrates. And also carbohydrates have fiber. And fiber is so important for digestion. It also helps regulate our blood sugar and it helps regulate high cholesterol. So really, really important. And I tell people like, we want to look at high value carbohydrates. What does that mean? That means there's fiber in them, right? We want to have fiber. Then protein. Protein is responsible for our muscles. And why do we need our muscles? Well, to move, but also they help support our bones. And as we age, our bones naturally decay. So the muscles jump in and help a little bit. So we need to be taking in adequate amounts of protein to help support our muscles. And then fat. Fat gets a really bad rap, but we need fat in our diet. There's just different kinds of fat. And a fat that's probably not so great that we don't want to concentrate on and if you guys have probably heard of it, it's called trans fats. So if you look at your nutrition label, right, it says total fat, saturated fat, trans fat. We want that trans fat to say 0. And here's why. Because trans fat is a man-made fat used to preserve the life of packaged goods on the shelf. My little joke is, does that prolong our shelf life? Probably not. But what we do need to figure out and be eating for our immune function is good kinds of fats. What is that? That's a lot of plant-based fats. That's avocado, that's olive oil, that's nuts. Fishes as well are very important. And, some degree, meat products are important. They have saturated fat in them, but in, small quantities, they have a lot of vitamins and minerals. So I encourage people, just look at the kinds of fat you are eating. So that's what we went over in session 1. So that's a little, just a snapshot of what we reviewed there. But now we're going to get into session 2. So this is my plate for older adults. And basically this was a study that Tufts University did in 2006, where they took a cohort of adults age 65 and older who had, A1C was perfect, cholesterol was great, didn't really have high blood pressure. And they said, what are you eating? And this is what it broke down to. It was pretty close to what the USDA plate recommends. But the top quadrant, you'll see cereal, pasta, and bread. That's your carbohydrates. That's your fiber, your high value carbohydrates. The bottom little quadrant, that's your proteins. The middle is your fats because that's the least amount of what you need to be eating, but you need to be having it nonetheless. And then half the plate is fruits and vegetables. And the one thing I really like about this study is they include canned and frozen vegetables on here because a lot of people are under the impression that frozen, specifically vegetables, don't have as much nutrient value. That is not true. They do. They're more affordable and they last longer, especially if you're eating for one. The canned vegetables, we just have to make sure we're looking at the label to see what it contains. Does it contain high amounts of sodium? If it's a fruit, does it contain high amounts of sugar? So just be mindful, but like we can be consuming our vegetables that way as well. And then herbs and spices. Anytime you add like cilantro, basil, certain turmeric, cinnamon, any kind of herb or spice to your plate, you are adding nutritional value. So I really encourage people, and people that I see privately to, use your spices. They are helping you. Any questions before I move on? Okay. All right, so let's talk about what the difference is between vitamins and minerals because they're different and they do different things in the body. So vitamins are made from living things. They are more delicate than minerals and they break down easily. And they are what's called organic. And when I say organic, I don't mean in the way of pesticides free. I mean organic chemistry organic, which is defined as a carbon atom bonded to a hydrogen atom. That is the definition of organic. So for an example, carrots, right? Carrots produce beta carotene, which the body, when we absorb it into the body, it turns into vitamin A. So vitamin A is an organic vitamin, and all vitamins are organic. And then minerals. So minerals are found in the earth. They're inorganic and they have more structure. They're more robust. They don't break down as hard. So they help provide structure in the body. I remember in sixth grade, we had the periodic table in our basic science classes. Those are all minerals. So iron, calcium, magnesium, all those, and those are robust, items. So they provide exactly that into the body. Any questions? All right, so what do vitamins do versus what do minerals do? So vitamins are essential for regulating numerous chemical reactions in the body. So my first semester of getting my graduate degree, Physiology 101, I learned that hormones and enzymes run the entire body. That's all the body. It's all that and chemical reactions. But they need vitamins in order to be activated to do that. So that's why it's so important. They're coenzymes, cofactor for an enzyme. So again, like hormones, enzyme, they need vitamins to work. They protect us from oxidative damage. What's that? That's the pollution in the air. That's when we eat sugar with a lot of food with a lot of preservatives in it. Any kind of medications we're taking that create, oxidative damage in the body. Vitamins help, prevent that. They promote growth and development. They're pivotal in maintaining tissues in the body and releasing energy from macronutrients. So we need vitamins in order to get those macronutrients, the carbs, proteins, and fats, to work harder for us. So they kind of work as little buddies. And then there are two groups of vitamins. There are water-soluble vitamins, there's 9 of those, and 4 fat-soluble vitamins. Does anybody know what the difference between water soluble and fat soluble means or what that means? Such a quiet group. Okay, so water soluble is the C vitamins and all the B vitamins. And what that means is they need water to be absorbed in the body. That's it. But then there's fat soluble vitamins, which are A, D, E, and K, which are fat soluble. And what does that mean? They need fat to be properly absorbed in the body. So I always recommend to everybody, if you're taking a multivitamin, please be eating when you're taking it and be eating some sort of source of fat with it as well. Because if not, you are missing out on the very important A, D, E, and K. And we're going to get into why D is so important. Any questions? I'm going to stop asking if there's questions. Okay, so what do minerals do? They provide, like I said before, they provide structure in the body. What's an example? Is calcium. Calcium provides the bone matrix, right? It helps build our bones, also our teeth. It affects osmotic pressure of body fluids. That's how everything is being regulated in the body, blood pressure and all of that. It also facilitates chemical reactions in the body. It's a it's a cofactor for enzymes as well. And then you guys have probably heard this term electrolytes. Gatorade made it famous. It is a real thing. It's four different minerals: sodium, potassium, chloride, magnesium, and phosphate. Gatorade does not, own that. That's just the minerals that they put into their drink. But these also help regulate the body's water and cell production and potential nerve and muscle generation as well. So a lot of the times when you go in to get a CBC, which is a blood panel, they were going to test you to make sure that you have efficient levels of sodium, potassium, chlorine, and magnesium, because a lot of times they can tell if you're suffering from a chronic disease, if you're low or too high in one of these. So let's talk about the nutrition label and how we can look at where we're seeing our vitamins and minerals. So this is a basic nutrition label. It's cookies. You can see the calories at the top and then the breakdown of the fats, sodium, cholesterol, carbohydrates, and proteins. And then if you go one down, you will see the vitamins and minerals that are in this item. So by law, the government, the FDA, says that you only have to have on your nutrition label vitamin D, calcium, iron, potassium. That's all they need to have by law. Now, if we're looking at this, it all says 0. So is this a food that we want to be consuming? Not for proper nutrition, no. Maybe after we've had a really good meal and we want to have some cookies, yes. But this is not something I would choose if I was going to just have this as a meal. And basically, if an item has more nutrients than the 4 that I listed, they're going to put them in there because they want you to know that you're getting more nutritional value in your item. So I just encourage people to flip over your label and look and see if there's vitamins and minerals in there. And decide, is this something that I really want to consume as an entire meal, or is this something I can have on the side? So let's get into minerals. And I broke it down by potassium, calcium, and magnesium. And I'm going to tell you why these 3 are all very important. So potassium does almost everything in the body. We need it for proper kidney function, heart function, muscle contraction, nerve transmission. And then potassium works with sodium to maintain proper body fluid, the osmotic pressure in the body. So usually if you get diagnosed with high blood pressure, the first course of action is they'll put you on a potassium supplement to see if they can even it out without medication. If you are having chronic kidney disease, you have to be careful you're not taking in too much potassium because it can hurt the kidneys. So, again, this is a CBC blood panel that you can get checked, but it can be important if you are having high blood pressure. And then we just need potassium in our body unless we're suffering from chronic kidney disease. But you can see from the handout, there is a list of different categories of foods that contain potassium, fruits, beans, certain kinds of green leafy vegetables, chicken, salmon, broccoli, pumpkin seeds. So potassium comes in a range of foods that we eat every day. You'll see the recommended daily amount for 51 and over is for males, 3,400 milligrams, and for females, 2,600 milligrams. So just keep that in mind. And how do we find that out? We flip over our label and we look at our nutrition label and we see how many milligrams are in what we're eating. And if we're eating a whole food and you want to get more potassium, now you have this fun little sheet. You can be like, hey, I'm going to have an apricot. That has 755 milligrams. I've almost got half my day. So, good to think about. Whole Foods is always going to be a place that you're going to get the most and the maximum amount of your vitamins and minerals. So then magnesium. Magnesium provides structure within the bones and it's needed for energy production. Magnesium works with calcium to make our muscles work too. Calcium says down, magnesium says up. So they work together. They need each other. But they also, they help control nerve impulses as well. And then it's important for heart health. And then magnesium is also helpful in like regulating anxiety and good for sleep. So if you were having sleep issues, encourage people, go to your doctor, obviously, and get your magnesium checked, but see if you can get a magnesium supplement to help you sleep at night. It's good too for muscle aches and muscle pains. And then it also comes in a whole variety of food. Seeds, vegetables, spinach, leafy greens. You guys are going to see that leafy greens are on almost every single one of these sheets because leafy greens have the most amount of vitamins and minerals. So, almonds, black beans, potatoes, there's a whole mass of foods that you can be eating. Apples with magnesiums every day. And then if you flip the page over, the RDAs are on that 51 through 90. For males is 420 milligrams, and for females is 320 milligrams. So encourage you to make sure you're getting your magnesium in for the day. And then last mineral we're going to review is calcium. And calcium is so important as we age. Calcium helps our bones, it helps structure our bones and also our teeth. So if we're not getting adequate calcium, we can have teeth decay as well. It also helps in nerve and muscle production. And then it works with vitamin K to stimulate blood clots. And why do we need blood clots? Because that helps us from when we cut ourselves to stop bleeding. So it's, not only we hear about it from bones, but it's important in other parts of the body. And then, as we age, a lot of us start to get a little bit of lactose intolerant. We can't break down and digest dairy as much as we should. So when I was doing this sheet, I broke it down by food, dairy sources, and then non-dairy sources of ways to get calcium. And you will see now, I know sardines aren't a huge popular love for people, but they are chock full with vitamins and minerals. So it would be a miss if I didn't put them on there. But salmon as well. And then again, leafy greens, kale, broccoli, those all are good sources of calcium. So just remember, when you're adding vegetables to your plate, you're adding other sources of, calcium and minerals in there too. And then recommended daily amount for 51 and over. For males, it's 1,200, and for females, it's also 1,200. So equal amount there. All right. Okay, so now we are going to talk about three specific vitamins. The first one up is B12. And B12 is a tricky one because when B12 is absorbed into the body, basically there's a little function in our stomach called intrinsic factor. And intrinsic factor helps push B12 out into the cells. Well, as we age, intrinsic factor starts to break down a little bit. So a lot of people start to become B12 deficient. And B12 is, it is the same as iron and folate where it helps form red blood cells. So we need it. You hear a lot about anemia being iron-based. It's also B12 based and B12 deficiency and folate deficiency as well. And older adults, this tends to be an issue. And then also with vegetarians and vegans, you'll see on the list here that there's not a lot of foods that B12 comes in. Animal foods, beef liver, clams, oysters, there is tuna, and then plant food, nutritional yeast, that's a soy-based product that you can get. Usually I shop at Mom's, so I get it at Mom's, but you can probably get it at like Giant as well. It's chock full of vitamins and it's got like a cheesy flavor and it's a soy. So I recommend that to a lot of my vegetarian and vegan clients to put on top. It's kind of like Parmesan cheese. And then tempeh, which is fermented soy, which you can find with tofu. It's a little bit more crunchy than regular tofu. So I encourage people If you are having symptoms of fatigue and low energy, the next time you go to your doctor, you get a CBC panel and you request, and this is what you have to specifically request B12. They don't just automatically give it to you. And check your levels because this is a place that a lot of people can be deficient and just not know it. Anything else that I want to say about that? No. Okay, and then folate. Folate is needed for protein metabolism. So if we're low in folate, we're probably not absorbing the protein the way we should be. It's also needed for the formation of hemoglobin, so those red blood cells. And what happens if we're deficient in folate is they get like weird, they're not circles, they're more like little jaggedy edges. And that makes it harder for the body to work with them. So, a lot of people can be anemic with folate as well. And why do we need red blood cells? Red blood cells transport oxygen from the lungs, and the rest of the body removes CO2 from the body. So basically, we need these to breathe. So another reason, anemia you can find you're short of breath a lot of the time. So I also encourage people, to get your folate levels checked as well. Folate is also folic acid. That's the term you hear most out in the marketplace, but it's technically called folate. So animal foods and folate, beef liver, egg, milk, and Dungeness crab. And then plant food, again, those leafy greens, spinach, avocado, broccoli greens, mustard greens, tofu, and then, some fruits too, papaya, some beans as well. The recommended daily amount for age 70 and over for males is 400 micrograms, and for females is 400 micrograms. So equal there. And then vitamin D. So if we are not getting adequate intakes of vitamin D, we are most likely not getting the calcium we need because calcium needs vitamin D to be absorbed. They work together. They're best friends. So it also helps regulate the amount of calcium in the body and helps get it out to the cells. So it's also vitamin D is for immunity and inflammation. And you can see again by this list, there's not a lot of foods that vitamin D contains, especially if you're trying to do plant-based. So we just have to be careful on what we're eating. So animal food, I put cod liver oil on there. I know that that is not a love. I mean, my mom made me have a spoonful of cod liver oil growing up. And it's terrible. Now you can get it in fancy capsules, but I would be amiss if I didn't recommend that as a high dose of vitamin D, especially because you can get it in so many different capsules. And then swordfish, salmon, tuna fish, again, sardines, beef liver, and then, vitamin D with eggs. I hear a lot of people say, I'm only eating the egg whites for cholesterol. Please don't do that. You want to eat the whole entire egg. The egg yolk is where you're going to get your vitamin D and your most nutritional value. If you eat 1 to 2 eggs a day, that is not going to change the levels of your cholesterol. Your cholesterol is going to raise when you eat more sugar. So we want to eat more of the good stuff and less of the sugar stuff.
You mean less? She finished that, but next to that, I cannot do it anymore.
Oh, little side note. And then for plant food, shiitake mushrooms, cooked. It's pretty easy. You just chop them up, put them in some water, maybe put a little soy sauce on there. You got your shiitake mushrooms and you've got your vitamin D intake. So RDAs for age 51 and 70 is 15 micrograms for male and females. And as older, we get over the age of 70, it bumps up to 20. So this is another one that I encourage people when you go to get your blood work done, ask to get your vitamin D levels checked. And, everybody's always like, go out in the sun, you get vitamin D. Well, yes, but it is very hard to track how much vitamin D you are actually getting because we're wearing sunscreen now. All of our body is different the way it absorbs in the skin. So you can be out in the sun all the time and still be vitamin D deficient. It just means your body isn't absorbing properly. So you probably need to be taking it in pill form or eating large amounts of vitamin D rich foods. Okay, so antioxidants. You hear this word a lot. It's gotten really popular out there. There's antioxidants in this, antioxidants in that. It is a real thing. but it is only specific vitamins and minerals. So it does, it is helpful. Antioxidants are helpful. They protect the body against free radicals, which is damage and disease, pollution. So we don't get sick. We have better immune systems. It has anti-inflammatory properties. And then again, aids in disease prevention and immune function. So what vitamins are and minerals are antioxidants? They're vitamins A, C, and E. Remember when you were growing up and your mom would give you a glass of orange juice when you were sick? Well, she wasn't wrong. There's a lot of vitamin C in that. But also zinc and selenium, as far as minerals, are good sources of antioxidants. So just a quick list of antioxidants that you can be taking in every day. Berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. Yes. I don't know if I can unmute you, Leonie. Do you want to unmute yourself? Nope.
I
Playing, I
just,
don't know how to unmute myself.
there you go. We hear you, Leonie, we hear
Okay.
you.
All right. See, I have a lot of questions, but I'm really having a hard time with my cell phone, you know.
Sure.
I have a lot of questions, but I'm really having a hard time. I like to ask questions.
Okay,
Now my
so
hand is, I'm raising my hand. Okay, it's all right. But see what at the end of this class, can I ask you a favor? I really need a print copy of this session. Could I have a copy of that, the hard copy?
Of the slides?
Yeah, I would really like to have a hard copy. Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much. So I can continue listening, and thank you, because I cannot follow your lecture, but I am interested in listening. Thank you very much.
yeah.
Okay.
And cell phones are hard because it's a smaller
Yeah.
screen. So
Oh, yeah.
understandably, so Jessica, if you're open, I'm happy to take those
Of
slides
course.
if you're open, and then I'll email them to everybody.
Yep. I will send them to you right after. So
Thank you very much.
everybody can have them.
All right, Leonie, I'm going to mute you just because I'm hearing your
Okay.
background noises, okay? And if
Okay.
you,
Okay.
no, thank you.
Okay. Thank
All right. So you guys will get a copy of the slides afterwards. And then, good sources of antioxidants, like I said, berries, strawberries, raspberries, wild berries, and then chocolate. Now, dark chocolate. I don't mean Hershey's Kiss chocolate. I mean chocolate that doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. That's 80% cacao. That is what we are looking for. Dark leafy greens, kale, Swiss chard, collard greens, mustard greens, arugula. Those are all sources of antioxidants. And then spices, ginger, cinnamon, garlic, turmeric, beets, squash, and legumes. And then, your citrus fruits, your lemons, your oranges, your limes are all good sources of antioxidants. So then I gave you guys a little nutrient grocery list to bring with you. So you didn't have to bring all your paperwork to the grocery store. You can just say, hey, I want to get more potassium in my body. What are the best foods for potassium? And you can just take this sheet to the grocery store, the little checklist, or put it up on your fridge so you know what you should be taking in every day. And then making healthful choices outside of the kitchen. This dog encompasses what I look like at the gym in the morning. It's terrible. I hate it. I want to be there, but I'm there. So why do we need physical activity, right? Physical activity improves heart health. It helps prevent or delay chronic disease. It helps decrease mild stress, anxiety, and depression. It helps maintains our bones and muscles, which is what we need as we age. We want to maintain those. It improves strength, vital to prevent muscle decline, increase balance, and reduce the risk of falling, right? And then improve sleeping. If we're exercising, we're active, we're tired at the end of the day. So what is the recommendation? It's 150 minutes a week. So what does that break down to be? About 30 minutes 5 times a day. 5 times a day. 5 times a week, sorry. Of physical activity. So 30 minutes 5 times a week. And that can be, walking, pickleball, yoga, anything that gets your body moving. It doesn't have to go to the gym and pump iron and, use the crazy machines. It can just be using your body any way that you can. A good walk is just as good. I also recommend, weight training as we get older, a little bit of light weights just to keep our muscles going. And I always recommend find a routine that matches your schedule. Like if you don't like to work out in the morning or walk in the morning, don't. Go do it in the afternoon. There's no right or wrong time to exercise. It's just what feels right for your body. And then a little quick touch on the Eating Together program, which is a federally funded program through the Older Americans Act. Basically, in the 1970s, they decided they took a cohort of 65 and older and got them together and had them eat a meal and to see what the benefits would be. And they found that it had valuable physical and mental health benefits, including, depression, aiding in memory, and then aiding in digestion. And why is that? Because you're stopping, you're chatting with your neighbor, you're not just shoveling your food down your throat like we do when we watch TV a lot of the times. So, this is how this program got started and was implemented in Baltimore by the Baltimore County Department of Aging. So some other benefits include, save time on shopping. You don't have to grocery shop. I know you guys are Opal, but if you belong to a center, I encourage you to look at the times and the days that Eating Together program is functioning at your center. Some ways it can help is it can save time on grocery shopping. It's economical. It's a $4 suggested donation. It's a nutritionally balanced meal. A lot of people don't understand or realize that these meals are signed off by a registered dietitian to make sure they've got adequate levels of protein, fiber, low sugar, and low sodium. So when you're eating one of these meals, you're getting a nutritionally balanced meal. It also helps. It's kind of fun to go eat with your friends, right? I love to go eat with my friends. And then, this program also provides annual nutrition programs. So someone like me comes on the screen and tells you a list of vitamins that you should be eating and talks to you about leafy greens. So that's another bonus, right? Yeah. And then, to be eligible for this, you have to be 60 years of older. If you are disabled and you're under the age of 60 and you're living in a nutrition site, you can also qualify. And if you're a caregiver for someone in a nutrition site, you can qualify. And then if you are under the age of 60, but you volunteer 2 hours a week, you can also qualify for this program. And then I just wanted to give a little plug for No Senior Eats Alone Day. So this is events that are held all in all nutrition sites and senior centers around Baltimore County. It's a special day. We invite you to come, even if you're not a member of Eating Together. It's just to come and have a really good meal with a group of people. There's usually activities and, some sort of entertainment that happens, and it's a pretty robust meal. And here I listed both kosher and regular menu, so you can see the variety there.
Jessica, may I just chime in that
Of
for
course.
Opal, because obviously we can't give you the food part. We're going to have an special online No Senior Eats Alone Day where we're going
Ooh.
to partner with the Baltimore County Animal Shelter. So we're going to kind of have brunch, a virtual brunch with our animal siblings, I guess.
That sounds so fun. I want to go.
You're more than welcome.
I would definitely come to that. So a couple final thoughts, and then I will open it up for questions for you guys. A couple final thoughts that I wanted to leave you guys with. Not sure if you're deficient in a vitamin or a mineral, lab work will inform you. So that's what I always suggest. Go get your lab work done, go get your blood work done, see if you're deficient in iron, vitamin D, B12, at your doctor. Make sure you communicate that you want those things tested. And then, until you find that out, in the meantime, include colorful plates with lots of veggies and lots of color. The more color on your plates, and I don't mean food dyes, I mean real foods. The more color on your plate, the more vitamins and minerals and antioxidants you're getting. And then eat wisely using your food labels. Look at your vitamin breakdown on the back of your labels. And I encourage people, look at the label, not the marketing label on the front of the package. Flip it over and look at the actual ingredient list. If you are about to buy a cracker and that cracker has about this many ingredients in it, you probably don't need that cracker. That cracker is filled with filler and preservatives that you don't need. So just be aware of what you're eating and what you're taking in. And if you have any questions, I would love to open it up.
I'm going to ask you if you can unmute yourself. It might look a little differently where you are and if you're on a computer versus a cell phone.
This is Jenny. I have a question.
Sure.
I have been taking a one-a-day multivitamin 50 plus
Okay.
for many, many years
Okay.
until last Monday when the pill went someplace it shouldn't have. And I have been recovering all week. I'm still not recovering from that. In this interim, I haven't taken that vitamin pill.
Okay.
And I was reading a book recommended by somebody from the senior group there by Sanjay Gupta, saying you really don't need to take a vitamin pill. So have I been taking that vitamin pill for nothing all these years? Or should I still figure that I need, even with trying to eat a healthy diet, do I still need that vitamin pill for some reason?
So I always suggest a multivitamin as a supplement. I don't know the author of that book. I don't know their credentials or, what they're basing that on because that's sort of a huge thing to say. I would say though that the next time you go and get your blood work, get your your micronutrients checked on, and maybe you just need to be taking that exact vitamin. Um, and it's hard to say without looking at your lab work, uh, your levels, but I would say, getting large amounts of vitamins and minerals with food can be difficult in this day and age. So without knowing your diet, it's hard to say. And I would say continue that vitamin, or you can get liquid forms of vitamins too.
Okay, I have question.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jessica.
Yes.
So for carbohydrates, how many grams of carbohydrates is the RDA for the day? How much carbohydrates, how much protein, and how much fat?
So that varies based on your age, weight, and height. So there's
All right.
no one size fits all.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now,
So you can look it up. If you go into Google, you can Google your height, weight, and age and find out exactly.
okay, height, weight, and okay. All right. And then another question. With the fat soluble vitamins,
Hmm.
is it okay? I know A, D, and T, K. I take D. I
Perfect.
take it with extra virgin olive oil because I take that at bedtime.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, if it doesn't bother your stomach, yes, for sure.
No, okay. So that's because I'm familiar with the fat soluble. You got to eat it with fat with dinner, but I eat dinner at 4 o'clock. I eat dinner at
Okay.
4 o'clock. They said it's better to take that vitamin D, which is fat soluble, at bedtime. You can get enough, good sleep. That's what I've been doing. So I don't know. So that's what I've been doing. Maybe it's okay, right? It's a fat
Who
soluble.
told you to take the vitamin at night? Can I ask that
My
question?
my my doctor said take it at
Your doctor.
vitamin D at fat soluble at night. It's get better.
Okay. Okay.
And then she said if I can combine vitamin D with K2 together.
Yep. Yep.
K2. So that's what I've been doing with vitamin D3 with K2, you
Okay.
know?
Yep. And are
So
you taking that at dinner time?
at bedtime.
You're taking all three at bedtime.
Yes. But my magnesium and my vitamins, I take vitamins. I take vitamins even though because they said, with the environment, with the world right now, everything is the soil is not fertile. Even though they said don't take anyway if you're eating well balanced meal. But the thing was, the vegetable is not organic. The soil is dirty. I mean, I don't know, but see, personally, I eat mostly organic food. Even though it's organic, still I soak it in the baking soda to wash it up.
Okay.
So there's so much because I'm really particular about nutrition. That's why I joined this class, and And then that's the reason why now I know, because I have, if I maximize everything for how much carbohydrate, how much protein, how much fat, it really, and then potassium and minerals, I'll go nuts. I
Yeah.
really go nuts. I really go nuts
No,
because
I know you can go down a rabbit hole.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So
yeah,
I would say, is your weight stable? Like, do you
oh,
feel good?
oh yeah, it's been stable. I never gained weight, or I'm always
Okay.
fat. No, no, I'm
You're
not really fat. It's just a little overweight, 5 pounds overweight. But
so I
see,
would say stay with what you're currently doing if it's working for you.
yeah, and there's another thing. The B12. The
Mhm.
B12, there are two kinds of B12, the cyanocobalamin and methyl. So I've been researching this, but they said you better off taking the methyl B12 that absorbs under the tongue. That's lozenges. It's absorbed well, and you take that at bedtime also. So you can get enough sleep, good sleep.
Mhm.
Yeah, but my doctor said vitamin D, but the methyl lozenges, I'll take that at bedtime also. And it's doing pretty good. I live very, very healthy, and I stay active, things like that. So I'm really, when it comes to nutrition, I'm there, I'm
Oh,
so
good.
that's why I'm interested in this. So I took off and then just attend your class.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
So
I hope I
what I
gave
really
you.
want, I would really like to have a hard copy because it's a nice class. It's a really nice, very interesting. I like to have everything right and in front of me, a hard copy, so I can read it over and over. And my neurosis is every time I go to the store and I pick up an item, my neurosis is read the nutritional value.
Good.
That's
Good.
me. That's my neurosis.
Well, it's a
That is
good
my
process.
neurosis. Yeah, I've been doing that for a while. That's my neurosis. So when they said, "Oh, you can I take this?" I said, "You better read two things: sugar and salt. With added sugar, don't eat it, don't buy it. Things like that." So I'm
True.
really learning. Thank you very much. This is really a nice class.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I just need a copy so I have it on file. Really
We're going to
appreciate.
email it to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you both. Okay,
Welcome.
you can mute it now. I am.
I got you, Leonie. I will mute you, okay?
I
Thank
really appreciate it, Chastity.
Oh, you're welcome, and we'll get those to you as soon as
Great,
we're able to. Thanks.
great, great. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Jessica, I have one.
Yeah.
I You see a lot of folks in your personal practice and in the public practice that you do. What is the one thing, if this all sounds a little daunting, right? Because we've been eating this way for decades, and maybe we want to do that one thing. What is the one thing that you would like us to travel with today to try?
Greens with every meal. 3 servings of vegetables a day. And what is a serving? It's a cup. And it's cooked, it's half a cup. And cooked and raw vegetables have the same nutrient value. It's just how the digested. So if you have certain digestive issues, they say to cook it because it's easier to break down in the body. But I would say 3 servings of vegetables, green vegetables. We kind of put vegetables and fruit in the same category. No, we just want vegetables. They're different. And you will look at that pack, you will look at the handouts and you will see how many times green leafy greens are on there. So that is the one thing. When you come to see me privately, the first thing I say is, how much are you eating for vegetables? And we go into that. Any other questions? Well, thank you guys so much. It was lovely to present to you. I am on the route, so I will send that to you this afternoon, and we will send the deck out probably later on this afternoon to everybody, okay?
Thank you,
All right.
Jessica. We appreciate
Thank
you. And
you.
thank you,
Thanks so
everyone, for
much.
attending.
Thank you,
Take
everybody,
care.
for attending.